everyone, this is the Movie Maniac, and today we are talking about the fourth Men in Black film, Men in Black International. In the leading roles are Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Liam Neeson. The story is about how Tessa Thompson's character sees these Men in Black as a little girl. Her parents get zapped. She doesn't, and she actually spends the rest of her life trying to find this organization. She tracks them down, and then they recruit her. So I just want to mention how much I legitimately love the first Men in Black film. I think it's a great movie. I consider it to be the Ghostbusters of the 90s, which is clearly what they were going for, and they succeeded. Now, obviously, Ghostbusters is still the superior film, but this is still a great movie. By now, after Men in Black 2 and 3, I have pretty realistic expectations when going into one of these sequels. I know they're not going to be great. I expect just an average movie, an entertaining time at the cinema, and that's all I went in with this. And for whatever reason, that is what this movie struggles with the most. The big problem here is that I don't think a single joke lands. I mean, I heard almost nobody laugh. I had a completely straight face the entire movie. It just wasn't funny. And I don't even think it tried that hard to be funny. And that's what's so weird, is that you can tell it wants to be a sci-fi comedy. It's marketing itself as a sci-fi comedy, but it's missing the comedy completely. What's interesting is tonally, this feels almost identical to the other movies. You wouldn't know that they had switched out directors from the original Men in Black. They did a great job at getting that right. I think Chris Hemsworth, he's been in these big budget movies before. He's been a leading man in huge CG summer blockbuster type films. He kind of knows what to bring and how to play to the camera. And shockingly, Tessa Thompson, who I thought did a fantastic job in Thor Ragnarok, really just doesn't bring it here, and she's your leading lady. I mean, there is no charisma, there's no energy, there's no excitement. It's a lifeless performance. She looks straight ahead. She kind of smiles every once in a while. She kind of seems a little surprised, and that's about it. This is not a case of when I reviewed Godzilla King of the Monsters and I said Millie Bobby Brown wasn't given a lot of range, but she did the best with what she had to work with. Yeah, you might be able to say Tessa Thompson wasn't given a lot of range in Men in Black International, but she did nothing with what she had, and it's so disappointing. I can't make excuses for this, guys. I wish I could tell you that there was another reason, or where I could point to something else and say, well, you see, you would have gotten a much better performance if it were for this, but there's nothing I can do that with. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a great script, but I don't think any of them have ever been truly spectacular scripts. These actors have to come into the movie, take the material they're given, and do something with it. I don't think at any point did she ever think, oh, maybe I should say this line in a different way. Maybe I should really over-exaggerate my reaction here. Maybe I should sprinkle in something that wasn't in the screenplay but is going to play to the camera. It was like she just got a paycheck, walked on screen, said her lines, and walked off the set when she was done. I actually think that she's a pretty good actress, but for whatever reason, she just brought nothing to this film. Liam Neeson, who's one of the co-stars, actually fit in here a bit. I could see him in a Men in Black movie when I watched this, and I thought, wow, maybe Liam Neeson should be picking more of these big popcorn flicks and co-star in them, and realize that he doesn't always have to be a leading man, and that he can do some of these big budget films and just add his flavor as a co-star. He can just bring his presence, and it just adds a little bit extra to the movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, he doesn't save this film. For whatever reason, this ends up being kind of a boring movie. I remember, like, halfway through the picture, I started to doze off, and when I left the theater with my girlfriend, she actually said, this would be an easy film to fall asleep to. Men in Black? I mean, there's so much here to keep you awake. I mean, it should just be a naturally caffeinated film, and it's not. It's really dull. It has no bite. It's not funny. It's almost a waste of your time. Now, what is interesting, and maybe I should mention this before I say it's a total waste of your time, is that there are aspects of it that are entertaining. There's a scene where they go to a nightclub, and then it results in sort of a big fight in the street, and I thought that was a lot of fun. And there were some other moments like that as well where it is entertaining. And it's really interesting to watch Tessa Thompson's character get brought into the MIB. And all of that is fun, even though it's humorless. So they have the shell of a Men in Black movie, but nothing else. There were some callbacks to the first movie, which I appreciated, and actually at this point, I think they should have just gone all in on the nostalgia. Because, you know, if I'm not laughing, and I'm not even really smiling, I'm just sitting there deadpan, watching this, feeling bored at times, ready to take a nap, then just, yeah, pump me up with the nostalgia. You know, give me shameless callbacks throughout the whole film. I mean, just anything at this point. I don't know if there was just a serious miscalculation in getting Tessa Thompson as your lead, and maybe she just wasn't prepared to take the reins of a big franchise, whereas Chris Hemsworth has been there, done that, bought the shirt, mopped the floor with it, you know, where she's very fresh to this whole thing. I mean, that could be it. Maybe it was a failure on the director's part to explain what kind of performance they need to get out of her. That it can't be dull, it can't be lifeless, it can't be stale. It's gotta be lively. And maybe they just relied too much on the brand name. Either way, guys, I was originally going to give this movie a 6 out of 10 and tell you that it was a mediocre film. It had many entertaining moments, but I don't know if I could really recommend it. But the more I sit with MIB International, the more I realize it's a bad movie. I have to give it a 5 out of 10, and I just have to be honest in my review. Look, I mean, a lot of things, I don't like pinpointing an actor in a movie and bashing their performance. It's not my style. I don't like to do it, but I like to be honest. And I think that that's the most important thing about film, is to always be 100% honest, especially if you're reviewing a movie. The moment you stray from that, or the moment you try to appease people over here, or you try to agree with critics over there, is the moment you're not real anymore. And why should I ever listen to you? Because you're not giving a real review. You're just bowing to social pressure. And look, I know that there are people who love Tessa Thompson, and I think she's a good actress. I've already said that in this video. But her performance here is not good, and it really hurts the movie. I hate to give this a 5 out of 10, I really do, because that is an awfully low rating for just a dumb popcorn flick, which shouldn't have to try so hard to really be fun, and it's just all missing from this movie. So what did you all think of Men in Black? I mean, would you agree with me on this? Do you think it's better than I made it out to be? Do you dislike the movie, but you feel it for other reasons? Leave the comments below. I'm going to read them all. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay inside the mind of a movie maniac.